Hello and good morning and welcome to the BTS Creative Academy podcast. We're currently streaming live across Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. We're here with the director, producer and cast, or some of the cast, of Dinner before they head up to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this summer. So guys, one at a time, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell me what your position within the show is? Let's start with Fern.
Hi everyone, I'm Fern. I'm the director of Dinner, which is a play written by Moira Buffini, which is heading to Fringe this year.
And we also have Sasha, who I can see you're in the car. We're travelling along. Just confirm for me, Sasha, we're not driving, are we?
No, I'm not driving. Thankfully, my brother's driving. But as a warning, sorry if I drop out because service might be bad. But I play Siân in Dinner.
Wonderful. So yeah, so we might get some dropout from you as you're travelling along. And good morning, Lottie.
Hi, I'm Lottie. I'm the creative producer.
Wonderful. And we also have Charlie.
Hi, I'm in the cast. I play the character of Wynne.
Wonderful. So guys, Edinburgh Fringe is about to happen. It's getting close now. Sasha, is that where you're travelling to?
No.
No.
Not quite yet.
Not yet.
Just going home from London, so.
Oh, okay. Just a normal journey. So when does the journey begin for everyone? When do you head to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival?
We're going up on the 10th, ready for our tech run, which is on the 11th. But we have boot camp with the cast before then to do our final rehearsals, which is kind of the week before. So I think that's next week basically now, which is kind of scary. So there are final rehearsals before we go up to Fringe.
So, Fern, being the director, tell me a little bit about this play. What is the show about? What is Dinner about? And is this Dinner by Maureen Buffin?
So it's a play that was on in the early 2000s. It was at the National Theatre at the Loft space at the National. By Moira Buffini. It was on the West End for a bit. Didn't do very well. Hasn't really been done since. So I chose this play back in last August, which is crazy. So it's been a year of me doing this show now. And it's a play about a very horrific dinner party that is it's run by Paige, who's played by Izzy Maunder, and she's hosting this dinner party to celebrate her husband's releasing a book. It's called Beyond Belief, and it's like a philosophical self-help guide. Very bad, doesn't really make sense, but yeah. And she hasn't even read the book, and it's this whole kind of plot. And then Charlie plays Wynne, and Wynne is someone Lars Paige's husband is having an affair with, which she knows. So it's this very kind of calculating, very uncomfortable atmosphere. And then she also invites Siân and Hal, Sasha, which is played by Sasha and Tristan, who are this newlywed couple who already aren't getting on. They've only just got married, and they can't stand each other. And it's just very uncomfortable. It's very fast paced, very funny, but it's also it's a very dark comedy as well. It's a lot about kind of class and also kind of the position of kind of women in marriage and relationships as well.
I have seen Dinner. I've seen it done by a local amateur dramatics group a few years ago, and I remember it as a dark comedy. As there's an element of it being a thriller. There's a mystery there. Yeah. And when the comedy comes through, it isn't necessarily in your face comedy. It is kind of situational. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And so, Lottie, you as creative producer, why this play? Why choose Dinner?
I mean, a lot of it was around
We've lost you there, Lottie.
The people that I was working with, obviously, we're a university by issues. Am I back? Can everyone hear me?
You're back. You might need a reboot on your Wi-Fi. It keeps
Okay.
dropping out, but we'll come back to you in a minute, Lottie.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, but so Fern, as director, have you got an insight on that why dinner? Was you part of the decision making process there?
Yeah, so it was me that chose dinner as the show. So I submitted it. So it's for our university, Exeter. They take a fringe show up with UCO, who's the oldest main drama society there. And so I applied to be their fringe director, and I submitted dinner as my application. I literally immediately, as soon as I read dinner, I absolutely fell in love with it. I thought it's the perfect play for fringe. It's all set in one room, which is perfect. There's no major set changes. It's very the atmosphere is so intense, and it's been a real thing that we've built throughout this entire process with the cast, and really intense character work. It's been a real challenge of a play to take on, which was certainly something I wanted. I think that was kind of my main reasonings for picking it. And then Lottie came onto the process in about October with Casper, who's the assistant director, and then the cast came on in November after lengthy auditions, and then the prod team came on at the start of the year.
And so, Lottie, we've got you back. You look like you're in. You look like you're in super high definition all of a sudden. What did you do?
Oh, I haven't touched anything. I'm not sure.
Well, here you go. So we missed you there when you was talking last time. We was talking about how you came into this process and how you chose this, how you came to choose this play. And Fern was saying how she was the one that actually started it with the idea. So where did you come in as creative producer then?
I mean, as Fern said, I came on a couple of months later after the initial proposal. And a lot of the reason that I chose to apply, that I really wanted to do this show, was the people that I had the potential to work with. I mean, UCO in Exeter University is kind of a big thing. Everybody knows UCO, and so that was kind of a very cool opportunity. And then to be able to work with Fern and Casper, who I sort of just started to get to know as I dipped my toe into theatre at Exeter. That was a lot of what drew me to it. And then finding out more about the play, just as producer, the intricacies and the details. It's such a beautiful show. It's a beautiful set. I really just couldn't keep away once I kind of actually found out more about the show.
Wonderful. Tell me a little bit more about UCO. I've not heard about this before.
UCO is the University of Exeter Theatre Company. So I think just as I kind of cut in and out, Fern was just touching on the fact that Exeter has got several different theatre companies, and some of us have worked with several of them kind of in the past. And there's actually a few other societies taking shows up to the Fringe from Exeter. So there's going to be a good group of Exeter students up there this summer. But UCO is the longest standing, the longest running theatre society that represents the University of Exeter.
And they do this regularly, do they? Take shows up to the Edinburgh Fringe?
Every year for as long as I've known about it, to be honest. And they tend to do pretty well. We've had some very successful shows in the past. So I'm super excited to be part of the company of this one. Wonderful.
So let's bring you guys in, Charlie and Sasha. Where did you come into this show? So Charlie, first of all, what point did you find out that this was happening and wanted to be part of it?
I think I saw, I have a couple of drama friends. So I was a bit in the loop with some of the drama things going on, but I think I auditioned on a bit of a whim, to be honest with you. It's my last year, so I wanted to, just graduated this year. So I kind of wanted to do something to make the most of my time. And you know, make the most of what Exeter had to offer anyway. So I auditioned on a whim, basically, and I just thought it'd be a really exciting opportunity to be able to go up to Edinburgh, and luckily I got part, and it's a really exciting project to be a part of.
And what about yourself, Sasha? I've chosen to talk to you at a moment where you've got no signal, I think.
No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, we've lost you there. That's okay. We'll come back to you. You can always contribute whilst you're driving along in the comments. I think you've got an option for that if you're on your phone. If you say anything that if you hear us talking about anything that's you'd like to join in, add a comment, and I'll bring you into it. But yeah, I think where you're driving, I think the signal's not quite strong enough. But anyway, yeah. So coming back to you, Charlie. So other than the excitement of going to the Edinburgh Fringe, what is it about this show that you're excited about?
I'm really excited about I really enjoy the kind of the experience it's been leading up to it, because we did a couple of extra shows of the way in which our characters are, like the relationships between the characters I really enjoy. And I think it is something so unique and something so kind of exciting we've been able to explore. And I think we all get along so well as a cast and a crew that it's been a really enjoyable experience to build these kind of like characters up and build these relationships and the intricacies and into what like you might think your character is, and what another character that you have a relationship thinks their character is to you, and how then that changes the way you can act and perform. And I think it's just a really interesting and exciting experience to be a part of, with that kind of I suppose dynamic with the cast, and everyone's so invested in creating this good show and what we're hoping is going to be a good show. And I think just the passion and investment from everyone is what I'm really excited about, and hopefully is going to make a good show, to be honest.
So it sounds to me like this has been quite a journey for all of you. Fern, did you say that this kind of started back in November?
Yeah, no, August. So it's been a year for me now since I started on the show, which is quite insane to think. Yes, it's been a long process in the making, but it has been like such a journey. But it's been really lovely to, I think, give it the time it deserves as a show, because it's such an intricate show. And like even down to like sourcing all the props, like it takes so long, this show, and all the process of it. So I'm very glad that I've had the time I've had on it, even if it is going to be extremely strange when it's over.
And so, and you've put on the show a number of times already. You've had the show on at Exeter, is that right?
Yeah, we did 3 performances in Exeter, 3 nights.
And how did that go?
It went really well, I think. I think we had a really good response. And it was really exciting because we got to do a longer version of what we're going to be able to perform at Fringe. So it's exciting for us to get the opportunity to kind of perform our characters and the script to the fullest before we kind of have to cut it down for Fringe. So it was really it was a really lovely experience.
And as a cast, was there anything that you took from having performed the show that you're like, right, now it's going to be different when we're at Edinburgh?
Definitely. I mean, like I said, the script getting cut down is quite significant because of the time difference. I think it was about an hour and a half in Exeter, and it's going to be about 50 minutes in Edinburgh. And so I think what we're going to have to take from the Exeter performances is how we can retain the kind of comedy and the quips and the really kind of intimate moments between people, and how we can kind of retain those. And something we took from the audience is, I think when you're working on a project for so long, you can kind of forget what bits audience members find intriguing and find funny and find, compelling. And then you perform it, and then you have that response, and these people are talking about these moments that you kind of forgot were good and forgot that you actually enjoyed doing when you first started the project. And so I think that's something we're going to take to Edinburgh, is that we've all got this newfound like love again for the comedy and the things that we can make the most out of, because we know that audience will find that funny or will find that compelling. Or, yeah, so that's... Yeah.
Let's try Sasha again, Mark, because you look quite clear at the moment. I think I can see you clearly.
Can you hear me?
I can at the moment, so let's try this. So yeah, tell me
Great.
about your experience of having performed this show already, and how you hope it to transform.
Yeah, I mean, adding on to what Charlie said, it was really helpful doing it at Exeter, just because, you know, we got so much feedback from the audience, both during the show and afterwards, and what they reacted to and what they didn't. And it was just nice to perform to an audience before we go to the Fringe, just to have that confidence. And like, we got to a point where, I mean, we've been rehearsing for nearly, I think, like 4 or 5 months now, which is quite a long time. And I think we all got to a point where we just had fun with it, and we got to play with it and test our characters and really like, just like, you know, take the stress away from it, and have fun, which I think we'll all take to the Fringe. And as well, as Charlie said, doing, have you lost me?
No, keep going.
Oh, brilliant. Sorry, I have really bad signal. Yeah, what Charlie said about the script being cut down as well. I think it's going to be a very different place, so we were very lucky to do the whole thing in Exeter. But yeah, it was great to do it in Exeter, but it made us all really excited.
Wonderful. So Fern, how as a cast are they doing? Are you proud of them at this moment?
I'm so proud of them. They are like literally the most incredible cast. And I think what's been so lovely is that they all get on so well. They're like a little friendship group, which makes sometimes like kind of wrangling them together in rehearsals quite difficult. But I think just how close they are and how close the whole team is really translates on stage as well. And it makes them so much more comfortable to kind of dare and do something different and be really creative with the lines, because there's so many ways each of the lines in Dinner can be said and interpreted. So that's really interesting. But I think like the response to them in Exeter was just incredible. And I think what I'm really proud of with this show is that it just puts great acting performances, like literally stellar acting performances, like front and center. Like that's what it highlights, that's what it shows. And I think that's what's really going to translate at Fringe, is just like how incredible these cast members are.
Tell me a little bit about you as a director, Fern. What is your approach to molding and shaping this cast? How do you deal? Like you said, you've got to rein them in. They're all getting on really well, but you've got a job to do. How does that work?
Yeah, I think my approach primarily is I want to create like the most comfortable rehearsal space. Like you can be as professional and kind of like which as you want as a director, but then ultimately like your cast aren't going to feel as comfortable to kind of be different and dare and be creative in your rehearsal room. So I think my main priority when starting the process in like our really like initial rehearsals was just kind of like making sure they already knew each other and felt really comfortable, which I think was the most important thing. But also, you know, and then like knowing at points that when I say like we need to crack on, we actually get on with it and we do our work. And also one of my main things is I really like to work like kind of one-on-one with a lot of the cast members. So kind of on Wednesdays, which was in our rehearsal schedule, they could always book in to have like a one-on-one rehearsal if they wanted, where we go through like their character work and like a really detailed kind of like fine comb the script with them to make sure they felt fully comfortable with everything. Yeah, I think.
Why do you offer that? Why do you offer that on an ensemble piece where the cast is working together? Why are you taking them individually and working on them as an individual?
Because I think in Dinner, especially, the characters are so intricate. They need to like, and with the shortened script, like the heavily edited script that I've had to do for Fringe, they need to know and just be really secure in who their characters are for it to have the depth and the impact it needs to have on the audience. And I also think once you work with people kind of one-on-one, it makes them more comfortable actually when they're in the ensemble and when they're in the bigger groups. I don't know what like kind of like Charlie or Sasha's experience of that is, but that's what I felt has really helped them as well. And I think it's made a real difference going into, once we've gone from those kind of one-on-one sessions into the like full cast rehearsals, it's really made a difference in making sure the characters all really shine and no one gets kind of lost in the kind of chaos of the show.
And let's come back to you, Lottie, as creative producer. How are you keeping a hold of this show? How are you making sure that this all runs smoothly at this point? Having had your successful short run at Exeter, how are you going to make sure that continues to be a success?
I mean, that's probably the most difficult thing, is having been so successful in Exeter. I mean, and the others probably feel this to a certain extent as well. There is a little pressure to really translate our success to the Fringe, because I mean, as Fern said, I'm so incredibly proud of our show and our team. We're a small company, and what we brought together was just phenomenal to watch and to see like happen in front of me. That I'm feeling the pressure a little bit to kind of translate that, but I don't doubt that with the team that we have, that we're going to be able to make that a reality. Practicalities, really, I've been on a lot of Zoom calls over the past couple of months to really just keep on top of things. Like I've become maybe slightly a micromanager, but I think at this point, really, I'm more excited than anything else. There is this pressure, but actually, I think we've worked so hard and we are ready now, that I can't wait to see it happen at Fringe, that we get there, and this preparation, all of our Zoom calls and our spreadsheets end up really paying off actually on stage.
How does your role as a creative producer differ working for doing this for a theatre company than saying perhaps there's a lot of independence up at Edinburgh Fringe? There's a lot of people doing this off of their own back, investing their own finances into this. How is this different with it was the UTC?
UCO.
UCO.
Yeah.
And UCO stands for
University of Exeter Theatre Company. And
so you're doing this for them.
Yeah.
Rather than your own finances, I assume.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's no kind of financial gain or really any money that I'm putting into it, apart from a fundraising perspective, where, I mean, I had two incredible co-marketing and fundraising managers. They've been so fantastic. So we raised most of our budget ourselves, which, I mean, was hard work. But again, I was lucky to have the people that I had around me. But I think really, again, I mean, I've said it several times now, but relying on the relationships that I've built in this has made it really worthwhile. Obviously, working for a company rather than for any sort of my own personal gain is very different, but it's also given me access to these people that I potentially wouldn't have even have met in another circumstance to put together this show. I mean, particularly my prod team, they've been so amazing and put up with all of the things that I throw at them any time of the day. But I wouldn't have had access to those people or the opportunity to work with them, which I think would have resulted in a very, very different show to the one that we have now. So yeah, being the producer for a company is different, definitely, but it's also been so highly rewarding that I really couldn't have pictured it going any better than it's been.
What would you say has been the most rewarding part of this journey so far then?
I mean, I don't know if I can even pick a single moment. I think our Exeter run was really successful. So from the perspective of wanting to put on a good show, I mean, we had 3 sold out nights before opening night even happened. And just seeing the ticket sales and seeing people come in and out of our show, that really like hit home what we'd done. And it was a bit of like a mind-blowing moment of like, wow, we really did that. And that was only 17 of us in total. Our whole company, there's 17 of us, and we made that happen. And yeah, that was really, really special. Probably sort of our closing night in Exeter was really a moment of, wow, this is a whole thing that we've just done. And now we get to do it all over again. So
yeah. And so is the whole team going to Edinburgh? Is you said 17 of you?
Yeah, 17 of us. We're all staying in one flat, so it's a good job we all get on well. But yeah, it's going to be such a good time. And again, a lot of that is to do with how well we do all get on with each other. That all 17 of us are gonna be up there, making our way up trains, planes, cars, who knows what. But we'll all be there 2 weeks. It's going to be amazing.
Charlie, tell me the truth. Are you all getting on?
Promise, I promise. It's I think we have to, because it's such an intense show. And as you would have seen, it's very like there's a lot to it. So I think we kind of had to. And I mean, Fern and Casper did such a good job in like casting, and I think they would say it themselves. Like one of the things they looked for was kind of a team that were going to get along, because it was going to be such a like intense 2 weeks. Emotions running high, and you know, just the Fringe itself is an emotional time. So we do get along, thank God. It's very nice. It's a very nice company to work with, and I've really enjoyed it.
I think there's nothing better than theatre to bring a group of people together, is there? There's nothing that quite bonds a group of you start off as strangers, and by the end of a show, you're almost like family. And having performed the show, you've secured that bond, haven't you, in a way?
Yeah. Oh, massively so, absolutely. And I think I knew no one. But I don't think I think a couple people knew each other through like drama, and like a couple people on the same course. But it's been such lovely, and we're going to walk away and it's like a really, really lovely group of people that I now know. And I'm graduating with this whole new like cast that I've lived with and worked with. And it's really lovely.
Is there anything you're looking forward to as a group being up there at the Edinburgh Fringe? Is there anything you're thinking that's what I'm looking for? Like, there's doing the show is one thing, but doing the Edinburgh Fringe is another thing altogether, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think we're just looking forward to kind of having a bit of a last hurrah for the people who are graduating, and getting to kind of run right around Edinburgh, to be honest with you. It's going to be great. We've got a couple of things we want to see as well. So, and I think we've all got like similar interest in that regard. So just being able to see art and enjoy theatre and enjoy what you're there for, I think we're all looking forward to that, definitely.
And let's try Sasha, we got you back. So what are you looking forward to as a group, as a collective, as a team up at the Edinburgh Fringe? Or maybe she's not back. It's always the way, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Hello. Did you hear me there, Sasha?
Actually,
no, we'd lost you there. But Fern, have we lost your signal? No, you're there. You're there. Hello. So yeah, what are you looking forward to? What are your hopes and dreams for the Edinburgh Fringe, Fern?
One thing I'm really looking forward to, and it was something I kind of loved about the Exeter run, is I love hearing what people thought of it afterwards. I think it's a play that really invokes like a big audience discussion. Once the show's over, like, who did you side with? Who was your favorite character? Because they're all fundamentally really kind of horrible people. They're not nice characters, and that's something that's really great about the show, but still going away from it, audience all had different opinions on them and like different aspects of them. So that was always something I found particularly kind of like satisfying and interesting. And also it's got quite a shocking ending. I won't spoil it, but something quite big happens at the end. So I think it ends on such a cliffhanger that watching kind of the lights go down in that final moment is always such kind of like a fun and interesting experience, as someone who knows the show really well and has worked on it for so long. But also up in Edinburgh, like I am so excited to see so much theatre, so much comedy, so much like I really want to go to one of the like circus tents. I'm just really excited to experience it all with everyone and have like just the best time as well, and enjoy the kind of atmosphere that Fringe has, which is always just incredible.
And so with the play, going back to the play, with it being a play that's established, a play that's been around for since I think it came out the early 2000s. Like I say, I've seen an amateur theatre company do the production. What would you say to anyone that's at the Fringe, they've seen the play before, done by other people? What would you say is the pull to this show?
I think it's what we've managed to deliver is a really clean, sharp portrayal of the show. I think it's really exciting with the younger cast. Like they play their character's age, which is usually quite a lot older than them. But I think it's really exciting and it's really fresh and invigorating to see such a young cast try their hand at it. I also think design-wise, Lottie has absolutely like kind of nailed the whole atmosphere, the creation of the set and everything. It's the perfect color aesthetic going on, and it's gorgeous. But I think just like if you have seen it before, try it and see what you think again. Because what was really interesting about Extra actually is we had a reviewer in, and he'd been to see the show and didn't like it originally, and then he came to see our show and he gave us 5 stars, and he came away from it and he was like, I loved it. Like I didn't like that originally. And we also had, I think we had like 2 audience members, and they'd been to see it when it was on at the West End, and they were like, it was so exciting and fresh, and like I enjoyed it. One of them said, I enjoyed it more than when it was at the West End. So if that's not cool, then I don't know what it is.
And I think that is the beauty of theatre, isn't it? That every time you see a production, it can be a different experience. It can be a completely different thing. That, yeah, I've had that before, where I've seen things done by one company in one way and another company in another way. And yes, it's the same text, but the way that the performances are delivered, or the team comes together, or the creation of, like you say, the way the set is, it all adds a different dynamic to the story, doesn't it? So Lottie, how are you planning to bring an audience into this show? How are you? Have you got any plans that you're going to get out on the streets and drag people in?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've got so many different plans. I mean, only I think yesterday, big box of flyers turned up on my doorstep. So we're all going to be out flyering. It was very fun. Right before we left Exeter, we had, Fern and Casper put together a flyering rehearsal for us. The entire company came in. It was highly amusing. I got flyered into our pretend theatre about 15 times by the entire cast, all with a variety of different tactics. And I mean, there's been also a standing joke since the beginning of our show that lovely Casper, our assistant director, will be in a lobster costume on the mile to draw the eye and really encourage people in.
So who's wearing the lobster costume?
That would be Casper, our assistant director. I'm gonna let him take that one. Very generous of me, I know.
Yes.
But, bless him. We've yet to decide if that's going to happen, but I'm quite keen. So I'm sure between all of us we can persuade him.
Yeah. So can you not take it in turns? I'm sure you'd all like a go.
To be fair, Fern, you can have a go in the lobster costume as well. All three of us.
Because I haven't been to Edinburgh in years, and a lot of people have been telling me prepare for the rain and cold, even in the middle of August, that it can be quite cold. So you might actually want to get in that lobster costume. You know, sell
pretty
it.
cozy in the rain.
Yeah. But yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Get in the lobster costume, and that will be a unique way to pull people in.
Well, exactly.
As a cast member, Charlie, are you looking forward to getting involved with the selling of the show, with the pulling the audience in? Because, you know, I'm an actor myself, and as an actor, sometimes we like to concentrate on our craft and our art, and it takes a lot of energy being in a show. But yet with the Fringe, you've got to do the show and you've got to sell it. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I've never done anything like this before, so I think it's exciting to be able to kind of try and persuade people to come see your performance, and I suppose you've got to have confidence in yourself and confidence in what you've created, and that's a big challenge for a lot of people, even I feel like performers who are, you know, doing that 24/7. But I think it's a whole different thing to be kind of have that confidence in yourself and be like, you should see this show, this is something you should, you know, give your money to and your time to. But I think I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being able to kind of sell what I think we've created, and like Fern and Lottie have talked about, and like, I mean, the prod team have done such, even if you don't come for the acting and even if you don't enjoy the acting, the set is just incredible, and like they've done such an incredible job, and it's actually just beautiful. So even if you hate the acting, it's a nice show to watch aesthetically. So yeah.
So earlier on, Charlie, you mentioned this being one last hurrah. You mentioned this being one last. This is kind of like a goodbye for a lot of you. This is part of your whole university life, and and that's kind of coming to an end. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's maybe 4 of us who are graduating the cast, 3 of us. And some of them do drama already and are going on to do more theatre things, like Tristan, who plays Hal. I think he's going to Lambda. So there's a couple of people who are going on to do theatre professionally. I'm not one of them, but so this was kind of like it's a really nice way to say goodbye to X. And I didn't do drama, so it was a nice way to get involved. But
what did you do?
I did English, so close enough. Sorry. Yeah. Study plays, I just didn't do them, but it was I really, really loved it. But I just never really did any drama while I was there, so it was just something I wanted to do. And so it's a nice way to kind of collaborate and join in with a load of performers and a load of theatre, and then go our separate ways and kind of have that lasting moment of, I don't know, like,
what a wonderful memery to be creating.
Absolutely.
And so what are your hopes and dreams moving forward from here then, Charlie? Are you looking to, do you want to be an actor? Do you want to be in theatre?
Or
is that not really the path? Is this just kind of part of the university path?
I think it's part of the university path. I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. But it's not, it's not really the path for me, I don't think. But I've loved every minute, and I've really loved it being a part of my extra kind of career. But
so what are you career-wise moving into then? Is there a certain thing that you're looking to do?
Hopefully publishing. So I'm kind of going down more of a literature route than drama. But I'd love to stay a part of it, and it's something that I've always, like, even if I'm not performing, I'd love to stay a part of like companies and do what I can. And I've always loved to do like backstage and just volunteer, because I just think it's such a, like, as you mentioned earlier, such a wonderful community to be a part of. And I think it just creates so many friendships and relationships and opportunities that you wouldn't necessarily have had otherwise. So even if I don't go down the kind of theatre route professionally, I definitely want to maintain some kind of link there.
I've always considered theatre to be a thing that can come in and out of my life, and it doesn't ever. And there's a lot of people that see it as a way of, it has to be done professionally. We have to look at it as a career, but we can just enjoy this thing. and we can do a different career to bring in the money, but have this as a wonderful part of your life.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
That's
and I
great.
think it's nice having it as like a, there's less pressure on it, I suppose, and you can just enjoy it.
Fern, as a director, have you got career aspirations to be a director? Is this a launch pad for you as a director, or is there something else that you're doing?
I don't graduate till next year, so I feel like I've got a bit of time to think about it. But I don't know. I would love to, and I think I've done directing before dinner, and it's always been something I've absolutely loved. But I think doing dinner has made me think about maybe I could do this more professionally and more as a career path. But I don't know. I definitely think I definitely want a career in theatre, whether that's kind of backstage and more in the kind of like maybe like the marketing aspect of it. But yeah, no, I think we'll see how it goes. But I think maybe we'll see.
And for yourself, Lottie, are you pursuing a life in theatre?
I mean, I'm kind of a combination of both Charlie and Fern here, because I do English as well. So I've always been much more literature focused, but I come from quite a drama heavy family. My sister is an actor. Well, she graduated from drama school a couple of years ago and has done a few things since then. So it's always been kind of revolving around me, and I've never been involved in it until this year, when I kind of, as I said earlier, dipped my toe in at university, and it's kind of thrown a spanner in the works for me a little bit of maybe this is, like Fern said, maybe this is something that I can do, and it's something that I never considered or never saw myself doing. I mean, I'm someone who changes their mind about what I want to do every 5 minutes, and I always have been. But yeah, it's given me a lot to think about, and I mean, especially again, like Fern said, with dinner, I'm very proud to say it's such a high standard that it has sort of given me that maybe this is something I could take further than just student theatre without sort of talking down student theatre at all. Yeah, I think there could be theatre in my future. I'm just not sure where yet.
And I think that's absolutely fine with these ideas. I think something like the Fringe may be like a seed of an idea, the beginning of something that it may give you some enthusiasm for something that you hadn't considered previously. Or you might decide that, like Charlie was saying, that this is just a nice extra thing to have in life where you do a different career that you can dip in and out of to be part of communities and to have this creative outlet in your life.
Yeah, I mean, either way for me, and I don't know whether Fern or Charlie feels the same, but that sort of creativity and the creative outlet is so important. It was something that I didn't really realize that I needed until I had it. And now it's kind of like, well, I can't do without this now. So I'm going to have to find some way of keeping hold of that, whether it's in literature or art or theatre or music. There's something there that you have to hold on to. It's incredibly powerful.
Tell me a little bit more about that power. Tell me a little bit more about what it is exactly that you have to hold on to. What is it that it's giving to your life that perhaps wasn't there before? I
mean, it's difficult to really articulate, but I mean, so much of it is an emotional thing for me. I've always, as I said, sort of art and music have been a big part of my life forever. But I think the power that theatre has, good theatre particularly, but any theatre has to make you feel and to sort of open yourself up to something beyond what's going on in your small little world, or down the road from you, or what your next door neighbour's doing, that you can really, it gives you the opportunity to find something new and exciting in yourself or outside yourself. I'm not really sure. But yeah, that kind of this emotional feeling that you get, and then from that, the emotional connections that you're able to build in those relationships, as we've touched on, like that you're able to build with people through that, I just think that's just magic. And these are people now that I'm going to know forever, and I'm going to stay in touch with, and that I care very deeply about. And I would not have had that without theatre, without dinner. So yeah, it's very special.
Fern, tell me a little bit about what this has given to your life, discovering this creative outlet.
I think at school when I was younger, I was always such a drama kid. It was never like, it's never really not been a part of my life. But I think I went to university, and I remember saying at the end of sixth form, like, I had a show I wrote, Go to a Fringe, when I was 18, which was incredible. And then I ended that and I was like, this was amazing. I had a great time here, but I'm going to end it here with theatre. I'm going to focus on my degree. I also do English. So I was like, I'm just going to focus on my degree, and I don't want to do any theatre stuff. And then within like a week of university, I got asked to apply for a role as an assistant director, which I got. And then all of a sudden I was just kind of tumbling into it again. And actually, I think it's become literally the main part of my time at Exeter. And it's been so fulfilling. And I honestly, I have learned so much from it, from like the tiniest aspects, from kind of like, you know, it could be like simple as like kind of costume, sourcing props, or marketing, and like kind of spreadsheets, which Lottie is absolutely incredible at. And kind of doing all sorts of stuff, like even the boring stuff, like kind of risk assessments and all of that. You learn so much from it. And it has literally, I know Casper said the same because he's just graduated, but it's literally defined my time at university directing these shows. And also I think it's taught me a lot about kind of being more confident. And I feel like dinner in particular has made me feel like a lot more confident as a person, and in a rehearsal room, it's a very kind of safe space. And I just love having that time to be really, really like truly creative and have my vision come to life. It's such an exciting process. And it's one I keep going, I'll stop soon, but I just never quite can. So I don't know what will happen after university, but I have a feeling it might continue on then.
I guess sometimes you don't have to know exactly with creativity. You can just kind of see where it goes and see what it, like I mentioned earlier about it being a seed of an idea. We'll see what this grows into. You know, at the moment it is just something small in the beginning, but yeah, this can spread in many different directions. So tell me, Charlie, so Lottie and Fern were both giving me some great examples there of the benefits of doing this creative process of what theatre is for them as a producer and director. But surely you don't get anything from acting. Is there stuff from acting that we can take positively out into the world and what we do in the future?
I think so. Absolutely. I think being able to connect with a character who is so different from what maybe you think yourself as, or maybe you find similarities in characters, just being able to kind of, I suppose, empathize with different situations is so important, and something I think is really valuable to take away into normal life, I suppose. I mean,
empathy is one of the most important skills you can ever possibly have, isn't it? To take out into the world and be part of a community, to be part of people, but be around other people. If you don't have empathy, it's going to hold you back, isn't it?
Exactly. And I think acting is like one of those ways that is so I don't know, readily available to kind of create. You can understand situations, like Fern mentioned earlier, that the characters aren't particularly likable characters whatsoever, and so that was a challenge in itself, because all of us felt quite distant from our characters, and they're not. But that's kind of the beauty of it, that you can try and empathize, you can try and create situations in which maybe you can see where this person's coming from, and even if you don't understand it, and even if you hate the character, despise them, it's still something lovely in you can feel and make and create kind of human connection and relationships and understand what you wouldn't necessarily normally understand in real life. And I think that's such an important skill and so important in empathy and compassion and learning about different people and the human condition, I suppose, which, as corny as it is, but I think it has to be said.
And what about you as a person, the positivity that you've taken from discovering acting?
Confidence is definitely a big thing. I think it's really valuable in who I now, and I also think playing characters and portraying people you want to play and people you don't want to play and people you like and dislike, I think is valuable in learning about yourself and who you want to be as a person in real life and who you want to kind of, and how you want to act. I also think working as a team is so important. It's great, teaches you so much about teamwork and especially about, in an ensemble cast like this, giving other people their moment to shine and vice versa, like knowing when it's your turn to kind of create that moment and but making sure you're not overpowering people and destroying what they've built, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's so much to it, and so much is rooted in relationships with other people and your connection to other people and other humans and how they feel. And yeah.
So Lottie, as a team, what message have you got to everyone as the producer? What message have you got to send them off on before they hit the Edinburgh Fringe?
I mean, I think just knowing the quality of theatre that we can produce and the talent that is just so ripe in this company, it's just magic. And I would want everybody to really feel that magic and feel how far we've come. It's been a journey. And we are very close to sort of seeing the culmination of a year's worth of hard work and amazing fun, but also, at least for me, incredible amounts of stress and last minute panic and like tape and sewing. And we're really seeing that come to fruition. And I hope that the cast and the prod team and the audience that come and experience our show just really feel like the magic that is made in that room in those 45 minutes, because it's incredible. And I can't talk enough good things about this show. So that's really, I mean, all I can say.
Wonderful. So Fern, any final notes for everyone before they head up to the Fringe, for your cast in particular?
I think be confident in what we've made and yourself, and have just kind of that self-belief that you can do this and you will be recognized for just how amazing they all are at Fringe, because they are just like their talent should not be kind of like it needs to be recognized by people at Fringe, and I really hope they can hold their head up high. And I think what I say with every show I do is there's literally no point doing it unless every member of that company is so proud of what they put on stage and can hold their head up high and go, yeah, I was in dinner and it was the best experience and I'm so proud of it. So I really hope everyone in the company can go to Fringe, and when they fly on the mile and like, we really want you to come see the show, they're really honest in just how confident and proud they are in what we've put on. And I really hope that will be recognised at Fringe, and as we go on, they can just all realise how talented they are.
Wonderful. Well, what a wonderful place and positive note to leave this on. This has been a really insightful and wonderful conversation. I really do appreciate you all for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having us on.
No problem at all. I've really enjoyed it. I've got a lot from this. I look forward to coming to see you guys at the Fringe. We'll catch up and maybe we'll do a little follow up with this with the rest of the cast and crew when we're up at the Fringe. But so where do I come and find you? How do I come? Where's dinner happening?
We're at the Space on the Mile, Space 1, I believe, at 5:35 from the 12th to the 24th, not the 18th though. Yeah, so you can find us there. You'll definitely see us on the mile somehow. There might be some very dramatic black tie going on, and if you see that, it's probably
a lobster costume.
And a lobster.
Looking out for lobster.
Look out for the lobster. I will be. I'll keep my eyes peeled for the whilst I'm up there. And I'll put a link in the description for this for where to buy tickets. But would you like to mention where tickets can be bought?
Yeah, they can be bought on the Edinburgh Fringe website if you just type in dinner, and you can see a little short description of the show and everything there as well as there are quite a few triple points, so just take a look at them as well.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate all of you. And if there was anyone watching or listening, we appreciate you as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.